The numbers on my spreadsheet blur under the desk lamp's glow, but I keep at it, double-checking the ranch's quarterly projections. It's past midnight. The Willow Bend Ranch house quiet except for the hum of my old computer and the distant low of cattle in the fields. I'm Marcus Hale, 48, retired financial analyst, spending my nights poring over ledgers for this 60-acre spread my father claimed back in 1980, turned it into a self-sustaining operation. Cattle, crops, even a small equipment rental side gig. It's not just land, it's the family foundation, where I learned to crunch numbers and spot bad deals early. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment. This story's about to turn sharp. A knock rattles the front door, heavy and insistent, pulling me from the screen. I glance at the clock. 1:15 a.m. No one's out this late unless it's trouble. I grab my flashlight, its beam cutting through the dark hall, and open the door slow. There stands Leland Voss, the HOA's self-appointed enforcer, flanked by two khaki-clad goons with Willow Bend HOA Patrol badges pinned sloppy on their chests. Boss, mid-50s, with that polished look of a guy who thinks rules bend for him, holds a clipboard like it's a weapon. His smirk's cold, eyes scanning past me into the house. "Hale," he says, voice clipped, "your structures are non-compliant. Barns too close to the edge, sheds not up to code. Starting tonight, $500, 0 cents a day fine until you fix it." He thrusts the notice at me, the paper crisp, ink fresh. My gut tightens. This is our land, deed clear since '80, no HOA overlap. But Voss acts like he owns the ridge. I take the paper, scanning it quickly. Fines accruing daily, liens threatened if unpaid. "This is bogus, Voss. Our boundaries set. 1975 survey proves it. No structures violate anything." My voice stays even, analytical, like I'm dissecting a bad investment. Years spotting financial loopholes taught me not to react hot. Calculate first. He laughs, low and mocking. "Surveys change, Hale. Our charter says otherwise. Your little ranch games end now. Pay up or watch the lien stack." His goons shift, one cracking his knuckles, the other eyeing the barn in the distance. I feel the heat rising, but I hold it. Voss is probing for a reaction, something to twist against me. "Charter? This land's exempt. You know that." He steps closer, breath minty sharp. "Exempt? Not anymore. Comply or we'll handle it our way. The fine's not just money. It's a chokehold designed to bleed us dry. My dad fought off land grabs in the ADS, taught me to read between the lines, spot the leverage. This isn't random. Voss timed it while I was overseas wrapping a merger consult, leaving the ranch vulnerable. Theo, my cousin, runs the equipment side, but he's no match for these thugs alone. I crumple the notice slightly. "You'll regret this overreach, Voss. We're not backing down." He smirks wider, turning to leave. "Regret? You're the one paying $500, 0 cents a day starting now. Sleep on it, Hale." His goons follow, their boots crunching gravel, headlights slicing the night as they drive off. I stand there, the paper in my fist, realization hitting like a circuit overload. This HOA isn't just greedy, they're predatory, forging claims to squeeze us out. My analytical mind kicks in. Fines like this could rack up fast, threaten the mortgage, force a sale. But Voss doesn't know my background. Spotting weak points in systems, turning tables on bad actors. Inside, I call Theo quick. They hit us with daily fines, $500, 0 cents for non-compliant structures. Voss's play. His voice crackles back, tense. "We fight it, Marcus. Rally the neighbors?" I nod to myself. More than that, time to buy leverage. Vaughn Reed, my vlogger contact who exposes financial schemes, owes me for a tip that boosted his channel. He'll dig into Voss's bank ties. This ranch, our foundation, won't fall to some HOA thug. Voss thinks fines will break us, force us to sell. He's wrong. I'm an engineer at heart, and I see his weak spot, the bank holding their mortgages. I'll buy it, turn the screws back on him. They started this, but I'll end it. With the ranch secure, our legacy intact. I crumple the notice in my fist, the $500, 0 cents daily fine staring back like a bad investment I can't ignore. Voss's arrogance lingers in the night air, but I push it down, heading inside to the ranch office where my ledgers wait. This 60-acre Willow Bend spread isn't just a plot of dirt. It's the family anchor my father staked out in 1980, turning scrubland into a thriving operation, with cattle rotations and crop yields that pay steady. Ever had someone try to nickel and dime your family's hard work? Drop a comment. This fight's just heating up and it's hitting close to home. I'm Marcus Hale, 48, retired financial analyst. Spent 2 decades specializing in corporate acquisitions, spotting undervalued assets, negotiating buyouts, turning shaky firms into solid holdings. It was high-stakes work, dissecting balance sheets to find the leverage points, the hidden debts that could sink or save a deal. Retired early after a big merger payout, but I didn't walk away from the game. I brought it here, managing the ranch like a portfolio. Crop rotations for steady revenue, equipment upgrades as investments, it's all numbers to me. Calculated risks with reliable returns. My father built this place from nothing, taught me early to read the fine print, spot the traps in any contract. He passed it to me 5 years ago, his hands rough from decades of work, saying, "Keep it growing, Marcus." Theo Hale, my cousin 35, is the other half of this operation. He's a local business owner, runs a supply store in town. Feed, tools, the basics farmers need. We grew up thick as thieves, him trailing me on the ranch as kids, learning the ropes. Now, the ranch serves as our family financial hub. Theo funnels his profits into upgrades here, and I handle the investments, turning our combined assets into a safety net. He's not just blood, he's my sounding board. The guy who spots the street-level risks while I crunch the big-picture numbers. Last month, he called while I was overseas, voice tense. HOA's sniffing around, Marcus. Notices about non-compliant structures. Our barn, the sheds. I was in Europe consulting on a merger for an old client, dissecting a tech firm's books. Weeks away and Voss struck, slapping those fines while I couldn't push back. The indignation boils up every time I think about it. Voss's fake claims, calling our barn a violation when the 1980 deed exempts us from any HOA reach. They forged surveys, bribed some clerk to stamp it official, all to squeeze us with daily fines that could bankrupt the ranch. It's not random. Voss timed it knowing I was gone, leaving Theo to field the threats. My father's voice echoes, "Spot the leverage, Marcus." Voss thinks fines will force a sale, but he doesn't know my background. Acquisitions are my game, and I've got an edge. That's where Vaughn Reed comes in. He's 38, a vlogger who's built a following exposing financial manipulations in communities. Zinc.cooking books, hidden fees, draining folks rye. We connected years back when I tipped him off about a shady merger in town, saved his channel from a lawsuit. Owes me one, and now's the time. "Marcus," he said when I called, "this sounds like classic overreach. Let's dig." He's got contacts in banking, knows how to trace funds without tripping alarms. With the HOA's fake claims piling up, Vaughn's my tool to expose them. The ranch office lamp casts long shadows as I pore over the deed again. My dad's lessons hit hard. Read the numbers, find the weak link. This place is our hub. Theo's and mine, a financial bedrock. Voss's fines aren't just paper, they're a chokehold meant to bleed us dry. But indignation fuels me. They targeted family land while I was away. I won't bend. With Theo's street smarts, Vaughn's platform, and my acquisition know-how, we're turning this around. Voss thinks daily fines will break us. He's wrong. I'm buying leverage. His bank's next. This ranch stays ours, and Voss will pay. I close the deed folder, the $500 0 cents fine notice still crumpled in my other hand, and head out to the barn at first light. The air's crisp with that early morning chill, carrying the scent of hay and damp earth from last night's dew. Willow Bend's 60 acres stretch quiet, the cattle lowing soft in the distance. But Voss's play is already ramping up. By mid-morning, 2 enforcers roll up in a white truck, khaki uniforms starched, badges pinned like they're real authority. The lead one, a burly guy with a clipboard, waves another notice. "Unapproved sheds on the west edge," he grunts. "Another $500 0 cents a day starting yesterday. Totals $1,000 0 cents now. Pay or we lean the ranch." I scan at quick finds for non-compliant outbuildings, our storage sheds they've suddenly deemed violation. My jaw tightens. Those sheds have stood since '85, no issue, until Voss decided to squeeze. I step closer, keeping my tone level. "This is Hale land deed, exempts us from your codes. What's the basis?" The second enforcer smirks. "Our compliance report says otherwise. Liens kick in next week if unpaid." They drive off, leaving dust in their wake, the threat hanging like a bad debt. Escalation's clear, fines stacking daily, liens looming to force a payoff or sale. I call Theo right away. "They're hitting the sheds now. $500, 0 cents more a day. His voice crackles back, tense. We push back at the hearing tomorrow. The preliminary hearing's in the county annex downtown, a stuffy room with folding chairs and a long table up front. Voss sits center, suit crisp, flanked by his khaki crew and a couple of HOA board types. Neighbors fill half the seats, some nodding at Voss's opening spiel about community standards. He waves a stack of papers. Forged compliance reports claiming our west sheds encroach on HOA assets. Redrawing the boundary to grab 5 acres. Hale's violations threaten our harmony, he says, smirking my way. I stand, my voice cutting through like a precise calculation. Those reports are fakes, Voss. Our 1980 deed shows the lines clear, no encroachment. I project the original survey on my tablet, lines matching ours, not his doctored version. Murmurs ripple. Mrs. Dunn from next door leans forward, frowning. Voss fumbles. Outdated data, Hale. Our experts confirm the shift. I press, revealing the forgery flaws, tense masked off by years, signatures mismatched. This is manipulation to claim our land. The room stirs, a few neighbors whispering, but Voss slams the table. Hearing adjourned, fines stand. As we file out, I catch eyes avoiding mine, the divide setting in. Back at the ranch, I check the security cams I'd wired after the first notice. Simple motion triggers from my military days. Footage from last night shows 2 shadows at the west gates, tools glinting as they tamper with posts, shifting markers to match Voss's fake map. Their faces are blurry, but the khaki uniforms scream HOA. Paranoia creeps in. Who's watching us? Are they planning more evidence to justify the fine? I save the clip, my gut twisting. This isn't random, it's calculated to rack up debt, force a lien. The whispers hit harder in town the next day. At the feed store, Old Man Ellis dodges my gaze, busying with sacks. 2 HOA folks by the counter lean in, loud enough for me. Heard Hale's dodging fines. Ranch is a mess, unapproved sheds everywhere. The other nods. And Theo's store? Tied to it, bad for business. My hands tighten on the counter. Voss's rumors are turning neighbors against us, painting me as a scofflaw and Theo as collateral damage. Theo runs the supply store clean, but whispers like this could tank his sales. I pay quick, heading out, the divide clear. Folks who've known us for years now side-eyeing, scared of Voss's fines hitting them next. That evening, an anonymous text buzzes in, pay the fines or Theo's store gets audited. My blood runs cold. Voss is heightening the pressure, using whispers to isolate us. I show Theo the cam footage over coffee, their tampering gates to fake encroachments. He nods, jaw set. We fight smart, your acquisition plays. The community's fracturing, Voss's lies carving lines between us and lifelong neighbors. My dad's voice echoes, spot the leverage, Marcus. Voss thinks fear will break us, stack fines until we sell. He's wrong. With the cams catching sabotage, Vaughn Reed ready to blast it online, and my analyst skills, we're building a counter. This ranch stays ours. I lean back in the office chair, the deed folder snapping shut, and stare at the fine notice one more time. The ranch's quiet hum outside, cattle shifting in the pens, does little to ease the knot in my gut. Voss's play is smart, I'll give him that. Stack fines until the liens kick in, force a fire sale. But he's underestimating me. I text Theo, hearing tomorrow, bring the store ledgers. His replies quick, on it, we got this. The community's the wild card though. Whispers are starting, Voss's rumors seeping in like bad debt eroding credit. Next day at the feed co-op in town it hits. I walk in for wire and posts, the bell jingling like always, but heads turn away sharp. Old Man Ellis, who's bought from Theo's store for years, busies himself with sacks, avoiding my nod. 2 newer folks by the counter. HOA types with their clean boots, lean in, voices low but carrying. Heard Theo's store's tangled in Hale's mess, one mutters. Voss says it's a financial risk, dodging fines, dragging down property value. The other nods. Yeah, and Marcus just lets it slide. Bad for business all around. My hands tighten on the counter. Voss is labeling Theo a financial risk, turning neighbors against us, painting our family hub as a liability. I pay quick, the clerk's eyes darting away, and step out. The divide clear as a red line in a ledger. The real fracture shows at the local forum that evening, held in the community center downtown, air stuffy with too many bodies and tension. Voss is center stage, podium like his throne, waving fake economic impact reports. glossy charts claiming our non-compliant sheds are tanking neighborhood values by 15%. Hale's violations are costing us all, he says, voice smooth, pointing to graphs of projected losses. Folks murmur, nodding, fear creeping into their eyes. Voss's reports tie our ranch to rising insurance rates, lower sales. I see Mrs. Kane, Ronan's wife, clutch her husband's arm, her face uneasy but silent. Voss's lies are sinking in, splitting the crowd like a wedge in weak equity. I stand mid-presentation, voice cutting through. Those reports are forged, Voss. Our 1980 deed exempts us. No violations. The room hushes, eyes on me. Voss smirks, but sweat beads on his brow. Outdated claims, Hale. Our data proves the risk. I project the original survey, lines matching ours, not his doctored version. Murmurs ripple. A few heads nod, but others scowl, bought by Voss's fear-mongering. Ronan Kane, our neighbor who saw the fine delivery, stands up. His voice low but firm. I was there when they slapped that notice, he says. No warning, just threats. Hale's ranch has been solid for decades. Voss is the one stirring trouble. A spark of support, Mrs. Kane nods. A couple of old-timers murmur agreement, but most stay quiet, eyes darting to Voss. The forum ends tense, Voss slamming his gavel. Fines stand, payer face leans. As we file out, a few neighbors avoid my gaze, but Ronan catches my arm. I'm with you, Marcus. That fine drop was bullying. His support's a foothold, but the divide's widening. Voss's rumors turning lifelong folks against us. Back at the ranch, anonymous messages start flooding my phone, all from blocked numbers. Theo's store's next. Pay the fines. Hale's dragging us down. Voss is right. My blood runs cold, paranoia spiking. Who's sending these? Voss's crew or neighbors he's turned? I show Theo the texts over coffee. He's heightening the pressure, isolating us. Theo nods. Your buyout plan. The community's fracturing. Voss's lies carving lines between us and folks we've shared fences with for years. My dad's voice echoes. Spot the leverage, Marcus. Voss thinks fear will break us, stack fines until we fold. He's wrong. With Ronan's courage, Von Reed's platform, ready to expose the financial manipulations and my acquisition skills, we're building a counterstrike. This ranch stays ours. The ranch office lamp flickers as I pocket the phone, those anonymous messages still buzzing in my head like bad debt I can't shake. Voss's game is clear. Spread rumors, isolate us, let the fines do the rest. But he's sloppy, and that's his flaw. Theo's already on his way over, his truck kicking up dust on the drive. We need to dig deep, turn his pressure into our leverage. Ever had to uncover a crook's books to save what's yours? Drop a comment. I'm Marcus Hale, 48, retired financial analyst. And Voss's HOA scam is about to get audited hard. Theo arrives by dusk, his business ledger under one arm, face set like he's closing a tough deal at his store. Let's tear into their records, he says, dropping into a chair. We start at the county financial database, public access, but I know the back doors from my acquisition days, spotting the patterns in filings. We pull HOA reports from the last 5 years, cross-referencing with property valuations. It doesn't take long. Spikes in overvaluations on plots near ours, all signed off by Councilman Elias Ford. Look here, Theo points, his business eyes sharp. Ford's bumping values 20% above market, makes fines hit harder, forces sales. Digging deeper, we find wire transfers from Voss's personal account to Ford's consulting firm. Bribes masked as fees totaling over $50,000, 0 cents. My blood heats. This isn't just greed, it's a system to overvalue and fine folks out of their land. We layer in the security cam footage from the ranch gates. Last night's clips show 2 shadows, khaki uniforms, tools glinting, tampering with boundary markers, shifting posts to match Voss's fake surveys. That's exposure, I say, saving the frames. Von Reed, my vlogger contact, jumps on a call. Send me those, he says, his voice eager. I'll access their emails. Got a source in county IT. By midnight, Von delivers. Hacked threads from Voss to Ford detailing the overvaluations. Pump the numbers on Hale's West sheds, one reads. Fines will break him. Theo leans in, his discreet analysis kicking in. He runs his store's books like a fortress, spotting discrepancies in a glance. Their HOA accounts are padded, he says, pulling public filings. Dues in, but outflows to Ford's firm. Embezzlement plain as day. Theo's skills shine here. Years balancing supplier deals and inventories make him a wizard at tracing flows. He cross-checks the emails with HOA budgets. Dues hike 30% last year, but no improvements shown, just transfers to consultants. Voss is skimming, Theo mutters, highlighting mismatches. We compile it all, cams showing tampering, emails proving bribes, filings revealing overvaluations. My analyst mind maps the pattern. Voss bribes Ford to inflate values, fines stack based on those highs, owners buckle and sell cheap to Voss's shell companies. Our ranch is next on the list. The discovery hits around 3 a.m. An email from Voss to a developer hails fines at $500, 0 cents a day, escalate to $2,000, 0 cents if he fights. Force the sale by quarter's end. My fists clench. He's planning to bleed us dry, rack up debt until liens force an auction. Theo nods, jaw set. He's counting on us folding. But we're not. With Vaughn ready to blast this on his vlog, Seth Kane's witness account from the hearing, and our dossier growing, we're set to strike. The ranch outside is still, but paranoia lingers. Those cams caught tampering, but what if they're watching us now? My dad's voice echoes. Spot the leverage, Marcus. Voss thinks fines will force our sale, break the family hug Theo and I built. He's wrong. I'm buying time. Literally. Vaughn's digging into their bank ties next. This ranch stays ours, our financial bedrock unbreakable. Voss's plan is flawed, and I'm the analyst to exploit it. The dossier stacked high on the office desk, emails printed, footage saved, our counterstrike mapped out like a flawless acquisition plan. Voss's embezzlement laid bare, his bribes to Ford glowing on the screen, but he doesn't know we've got it yet, and that's our edge. Morning light filters through the blinds, the ranch outside humming with the low hum of cattle, but trouble's brewing. Theo's already headed back to his store, voice firm over the phone. Hit him where it hurts, Marcus. Voss's plan to force the sale through fines is his endgame, but he's about to learn I'm the one who buys out the threats. By noon, a certified letter arrives, sealed with that HOA stamp like a bad check. I tear it open. Foreclosure warning, claiming the stacked fines as debts against our ranch mortgage. Unpaid violations constitute lien priority, it reads. Voss's signature bold at the bottom. My blood surges. They've looped the bank in, turning $500 0 cents dailies into a hammer on our loan. The total's already $3,000 0 cents, with threats to accelerate if unpaid by week's end. I scan the fine print. It's a bluff, but calculated to panic. Our mortgage is solid, but liens like this could cloud the title, scare off buyers if we ever needed to sell. Voss is playing the long game, squeezing until we crack. I head to the utility shed to clear my head, but find chaos. The power lines cut, wires frayed deliberate, and the water pump's valve jammed with grit. My new cams, wired after the gate tampering, caught it. 3 khaki figures at 4 a.m., tools glinting under moonlight, sabotaging the lines. The burly enforcer from the fine drop is there, his face clear in the frame. My jaw tightens. This isn't just fines. It's crippling our operations, making the ranch unlivable to force a quick sale. I save the footage, paranoia spiking. Who's feeding them our routines? The fields feel watched, every shadow a potential spy. My phone rings mid-afternoon, and it's a consulting lead from an old contact, potential gig auditing a firm's assets, but his voice shifts quick. Marcus, heard from the HOA. You're in some financial hot water. Fines stacking up. Can't risk associating. Sorry. Click. My teeth grind. Voss's smears are hitting my side work now, labeling me a deadbeat to cut off income streams. I've built my rep on clean deals, spotting risks before they bite, but Voss is turning it against me. Theo texts. Store sales dipped. Rumors were tied to your debts. The divide's deepening, Voss isolating us financially. Tension builds through the day, whispers from neighbors filtering back, Mrs. Kane at the co-op avoiding eye contact, muttering about Hale's troubles, dragging down values. By evening it peaks. Voss's SUV rolls up unannounced, gravel crunching under tires, flanked by 2 enforcers, their hands on belts like they're ready for a standoff. The air's thick with dust and heat. The ranch house porch, my ground. Voss steps out, suit crisp despite the sweat on his brow. Hale, he barks, waving the foreclosure notice like a weapon. Your fines are debts now. Banks on board, pay up, or we foreclose by month's end. I stand firm, the dossier folder in hand, my voice level. This is harassment, Voss. Our deed exempts us, no violations, no liens. He laughs, low and venomous, closing the distance. Deeds change, Hale. Your cousin's store, we'll lean that too. Call it collateral. His enforcers shift, one eyeing the barn like he's scouting for more sabotage. Theo's truck pulls up then, him jumping out, face set. Back off our land, he says, voice steady. Voss smirks wider. Or what? Your financial hub crumbles tomorrow? The standoff holds, the air crackling, his enforcers inching forward. My hand tightens on the folder. Voss thinks he's cornered us, finds and leans his hammer. He's wrong. With the cams catching sabotage, Vaughn's emails proving bribes, and our dossier ready, we're set to flip this. The ranch stays ours. The standoff with Voss lingers in the air like static after a storm. His SUV's taillights fading down the drive. I watch until they're gone, then turn to Theo, his truck still idling. We need to dig deeper, Trace's money. He nods, killing the engine. My contacts at the chamber, old suppliers, owe me favors. They'll sniff out his trails. Ever had a bully's secrets unravel like a bad knot? Drop a comment. I'm Marcus Hale, 48, retired financial analyst, and Voss's HOA scam is about to get dissected. Theo gets to work that night, calling his network from the ranch office, his voice low over the phone. Yeah, look into Willow Bend HOA accounts, any odd transfers. By morning, his contacts deliver, scanned ledgers showing Voss siphoning HOA funds. Dues hiked 25% last year, but outflows to consultants that loop back to his personal accounts. Embezzlement, Theo says, pointing to a $40,000 0-cents wire masked as maintenance fee. It's not sloppy, it's bold, Voss pocketing thousands to fund his land grabs. My analyst eye spots the pattern, overcharge members, skim the excess, use it to bribe for more power. Theo's business skills shine here. Years balancing supplier deals make him a pro at tracing hidden flows. I dive into the county archives online, cross-referencing our deed with historical financial records. Buried in a 1982 filing, I find it. A covenant addendum from my dad, locking Willow Bend as dues exempt. A clause he negotiated when the first developments crept in. No HOA assessments, perpetual immunity, it reads, stamped official. My pulse quickens. This proves our ranch can't be fined or leaned under their rules. Voss's claims are smoke, built on ignoring this. I print it, the paper heavy with vindication, my dad's foresight protecting us decades later. We compile the dossier over coffee, the ranch house quiet but charged. Security cam footage shows Voss's enforcers at 3 a.m. jamming the water pump, their faces clear. Vaughn reads accessed emails. Hacked from the HOA server. Detail Voss's orders. Spike Hale's utilities. Make it unlivable. Witness statements roll in. Ronan Kane's sworn account of the fine delivery. Aggressive and unprovoked. And Mrs. Kane's note on whispers at the co-op. Voss called Theo a risk. Scared folks off his store. Theo adds his analysis. HOA budgets padded. Funds embezzled to Ford's firm. The dossier's a fortress. Videos, emails, statements. The 1982 deed. A blueprint to dismantle Voss. The Grudge uncovers mid-dossier in an old email from Voss to Ford. Hale's dad undercut my father's bid an 80 time to settle. My stomach twists. Back in 1980, Voss's father tried to buy our ranch cheap, but my dad outmaneuvered him, securing the exemption clause. This isn't just greed, it's revenge. Voss using the HOA to finish what his dad started. Theo leans back. Personal. Makes him dangerous. I nod, the pieces locking. Embezzlement to fund bribes, overvaluations to justify fines, all tied to an old rivalry. My dad's voice echoes. Spot the leverage, Marcus. Voss thinks his grudge gives him edge, but it's his flaw. Emotional, sloppy. Vaughn calls, voice buzzing. Dossier's gold, I'll tease it on the vlog. Comments already flood his feed. Expose him, but paranoia creeps. The cams caught sabotage, but what if Voss has eyes inside? I check the windows, the field's dark but heavy. Another anonymous text buzzes. Theo's store closes tomorrow. My blood runs cold. Voss is desperate, heightening the pressure to break us before we strike. But we're ready. With Theo's traces, the 1982 deed, our dossier stacked, and Vaughn's platform, we're set. This ranch stays ours, our financial hub unbreakable. Voss's plan, fines to force sale, revenge for his dad, is crumbling I'm buying time, and soon his bank, Voss's plan, fines to for sale, revenge for his dad, is crumbling. I'm buying time, and soon his bank. But first we hit the community meeting hard, dossier in hand. The town hall downtown is packed that evening, air stuffy with tension and the faint scent of old coffee from the lobby urns. Chairs scrape as neighbors fill the rows, faces tight, caught in Voss's web of economic fear-mongering. Voss stands at the podium, suit crisp as a fresh ledger, gavel gleaming like a false prophet. His board flanks him, enforcers dotted in the crowd, their khaki badges subtle threats. Ronan Kane's in the front row, his nod steady when our eyes meet. Vaughn Reed's in the back, camera rolling, live streaming to millions. Theo's beside me, his business ledger tucked under his arm, ready to dissect Voss's numbers without a word wasted. Voss bangs his gavel, voice booming. Order! Hale's violations are draining our values. Fines are necessary for harmony. The crowd murmurs, swayed by his fake reports, claiming our sheds tank property prices. I stand, voice cutting through like a precise audit. This ranch is ours, I say, raising the 1980 deed. Voss forged surveys, embezzled funds to bribe for land grabs. I flash the tablet, projecting the forged compliance reports, my signature a clumsy fake next to the real deed's boundaries. Whispers ripple. Mrs. Kane leans forward, frowning. Voss's smirk falters. Sit down, Hale, he snaps. Your claims are baseless. Fines stand. I press on, displaying Vaughn's emails. Voss bribed Councilman Elias Ford, I say, voice hard. Overvalued our land to justify fines, pocketed the excess. The screen shows Voss's words. Pump the numbers, break Hale. Gasps erupt, neighbors shifting. Ford, in the back, sweats, inching toward the exit like a cornered debtor. Theo stands, subtle, no fanfare, projecting his analysis of HOA accounts. Dues hiked, outflows to Ford's firm, embezzlement clear in red highlights. These budgets don't add up, Theo says, voice even, pointing to mismatches. Voss skimmed thousands for personal gain. The crowd stirs, voices rising. That's our money. No confrontation, just facts laid bare. Theo's business savvy exposing the rot without a raised tone. The room crackles, neighbors arguing. Voss slams his gavel, face red as an overdrawn account. Lies, Hale's a financial risk, his ranch drags us down. But I'm not done. I play the security cam footage, goons tampering gates at 3 a.m., shifting markers to match Voss's fakes. The crowd roars, some leaping up, pointing at the screen. Ronan yells, "You lied to us, Voss." Voss's gavel freezes, his face paling like a bankrupt ledger. Elias Ford bolts. But eyes follow, murmurs swelling to demands. Dissolve the HOA. Voss stammers, "This is a setup," but his voice cracks, frail as a cooked book. Ronan stands, voice firm. I saw the fine drop. Aggressive, no warning. Voss threatened, "Leans on my place too," Mrs. Kane adds. He called Theo a risk, scared us off his store. The crowd turns full, chanting, "Dissolve, dissolve!" Vaughn's camera catches it all, his vlogs spiking to 12 million views, comments flooding. "End him!" Hale. I nod to Theo, who signals the door. A county auditor, tipped by Vaughn, strides in with deputies holding Voss's real ledgers. "Embezzlement confirmed," he says. HOA funds diverted to bribes. The hall erupts, neighbors demanding dissolution, Voss's board scattering. He denies wildly, Hale fabricated it all, but allies pile on. Seth from the co-op testifies to whispers Voss smeared the Hales to isolate them. The facade cracks, Voss's smirk gone, sweat beating as deputies approach. "You're done," I say, voice low. The crowd's electric, united in rebellion, demanding the HOA's end. Voss's gavel drops, his empire shattering. My dad's voice echoes. "Spot the leverage, Marcus." I did. With Theo's analysis, Ronan's courage, Vaughn's platform, and our dossier, Voss's scam is exposed. The ranch stays ours. The community meeting's roar still echoes in my ears as we drive back to the ranch, the dossier folder heavy on the seat beside me. Voss's facade cracked wide open, his denials drowned in the crowd's demands. But I know he's not done. Desperate men lash out. Theo's voice cuts the silence. "He'll hit back hard, watch for it." My phone buzzes before we even pull in. A forwarded alert from Vaughn. Voss staging something big. Ever had a bully cornered and watched them swing wild? Drop a comment. I'm Marcus Hale, 48, retired financial analyst, and Voss's next move is about to backfire. Morning hits with a media storm. News vans clog the ranch gate, cameras trained on our west sheds, reporters shouting questions. Voss stands front and center, megaphone in hand, his suit rumpled but voice slick. Hale's evading fines, he shouts, waving a stack of papers. Fake financial audit reports claiming our sheds are HOA assets, overvalued to justify seizure. He's a tax dodger, hiding behind family deeds. A crowd of neighbors and onlookers murmurs, some nodding, fear creeping back. A young reporter jabs a mic at me as I push through. Mr. Hale, are you evading HOA debts? I glare, voice steady. Voss is lying. This audit's forged, just like his surveys. But the frenzy builds, headlines flashing on my phone. My analyst reps at stake. Clients could bail if this sticks, painting me as a fraud. The accusations risk everything. My post-retirement gigs auditing mergers rely on trust, and Voss knows it. He's blaming me for financial evasion, twisting our exempt status into a scam. I text Vaughn, push the dossier online, now. His vlog surges, clips of the meeting and our evidence hitting 12 million views. But the media's hook on Voss's narrative. Paranoia spikes. Who's feeding them? I check the cams, fresh footprints near the sheds, but no clear faces. Afternoon brings the enforcers. 4 khaki figures at the gate, tools and papers in hand. Voss's black SUV idling behind. Seizure order, the lead barks, waving a lien document. Fines unpaid. My heart pounds, but my financial safeguards kick in. I'd rerouted the ranch mortgage through a trust years ago, exempt from liens under the 1980 deed clause. Try it, I say, voice level, pulling my tablet to show the trust papers. This land's protected, no seizure sticks. They advance anyway, the burly one gripping bolt cutters aiming for the shed locks. Alarms trigger, motion sensors I wired blare, a silent alert pinging the sheriff and Vaughn. The enforcers hesitate, then back off as sirens wail in the distance. Voss watches from his SUV, face twisted, driving off without a word. I rally neighbors that evening over secure calls. Ronan Kane, Mrs. Kane, a few others wary but willing after the meeting. Voss staged that audit, I say, sharing the dossier via encrypted link. Here's proof, forged reports, his bribes to Ford. Ronan chimes in, voice firm. I saw the enforcers at your gate last week, scared us off Theo's store. We compile more. Vaughn's emails, cam footage of the sabotage, witness notes from the hearing. The group's dossier grows, a counter ledger to Voss's lies. Theo text, stores getting hits too. Rumors tanking sales. The divide's deepening, but our allies are solidifying. Anonymous messages flood in, pay the fines, or Theo's store closes. Hale's evasion hurts us all, Voss is right. My blood runs cold, but I trace one back, Voss's burner, sloppy as his forgeries. Tension heightens. The ranch feels watched, every shadow a potential spy. I check the cams again, fresh footprints near the barn, but no raid yet. Voss is desperate, his audit a ploy to smear me, risk my rep, force the sale through public pressure. My dad's voice echoes, spot the leverage, Marcus. He's banking on isolation, but our dossier's ready. With Ronan's testimony, Vaughn's platform, and Theo's analysis, we're set to flip this. The ranch stays ours. Voss is desperate. He's ought a ploy to smear me, risk my rep, force the sale through public pressure. My dad's voice echoes, spot the leverage, Marcus. He's banking on isolation, but our dossier's ready. With Ronan's testimony, Vaughn's platform, and Theo's analysis, we're set to flip this. The ranch stays ours. But I'm not waiting for the next hit. I'm striking at his core. As a retired analyst, acquisitions are my field, and Voss's HOA mortgages are held by Ridge Valley Bank, a small outfit ripe for a buyout. Time to own the debt. I spend the night on calls, pulling strings from old merger contacts. Ridge Valley's undervalued, one says. Board's open to offers. By dawn, I've structured the deal. Anonymous through a shell company, funded by ranch reserves and Theo's store liquidity. We close fast, my expertise spotting the bank's weak balance sheet, high-risk loans to HOA types like Voss. I signed digitally at noon, ownership transferring quietly. Voss won't know until it's too late. Theo grins over coffee. You bought their bank poetic. I nod, the dossier updated with the acquisition papers. His mortgages are mine now. Freeze payments, watch him squirm. Afternoon brings the confrontation. Voss's SUV rolls up unannounced, gravel flying, flanked by 2 officials from county records, Ford's cronies and 3 enforcers, their khaki uniforms crisp, hands on belts. The air's thick with dust and tension, the west sheds looming behind me. Voss steps out, suit sharp despite the heat, waving a foreclosure writ. "Hale, your evasion ends today," he barks. Fines hit $5,000, 0 cents. Ranch is in default. We're seizing the west edge. His officials nod, one clutching a clipboard with a fake audit. Theo's at my side, Ronan Kane pulling up in his truck, drawn by Vaughn's tip. I stand firm on the porch, tablet in hand. Caesar? On what grounds? Voss smirks, closing in. Your debts to the HOA. Bank's calling the mortgage. The enforcers advance, one gripping bolt cutters for the shed locks. That's my cue. I revealed the acquisition papers, projecting the buyout confirmation. Ridge Valley Bank's under new ownership, mine. Your HOA mortgages, frozen. No payments processed until audits clear your embezzlement. Boss's face drains, pale as bad credit. Impossible, he stammers, snatching at the tablet. The officials falter, eyes wide. This changes things, one mutters. Vaughn's already live via his vlog, camera hidden in Ronan's truck, streaming to 12 million. I turn to it, voice steady. Folks, Voss's HOA is a scam. Embezzled funds, bribed officials, forged fines to grab land. I flash the dossier. Cam footage of sabotage, emails to Ford. Theo's analysis showing skim dues. The crowd, neighbors alerted by Vaughn's posts, gathers at the gate, murmurs growing to shouts. Ronan steps forward. I saw the tampering, Voss's men at the sheds. Mrs. Kane adds, he threatened our values. It's all lies. Voss spins, face twisted. This is a setup. Hale's evader. His fines prove it. But I counter with the 1980 deed. Exempt from dues, your overvaluations are fraud. Theo demonstrates quick, projecting HOA budgets. Dues in but outflows to Voss's pockets. $100,000, 0 cents skimmed. The live feed explodes, comments flooding. Bust him. Voss lunges at Theo, but enforcers hesitate, their loyalty cracking. One mutters, boss, the bank's his. Voss rants wild. I'll sue. This ranch is mine. Hale's dad stole my father's deal. His grudge spills, raw and desperate. Sheriff Owen Reed arrives, siren low, badge heavy. Voss, stand down, he says, deputies flanking. Von Stream catches Voss's mid-rant confession. The fines were to break him, payback for 80. The crowd roars, demanding arrest. Deputies move, cuffs gleaming. Leland Voss, you're under arrest for embezzlement, bribery, fraud. Owen says the snap crisp, Voss's eyes dart, desperate as they haul him away, his screams lost in the cheers. Neighbors surge forward, Ronan clapping my back. You did it, Marcus. Theo and I stand on the porch. The ranch secure, fines nullified by the buyout. Vaughn's camera pans the scene, his vlog hitting 13 million. My dad's voice echoes. Spot the leverage. I did, bought the bank, froze the debts, exposed the rot. The ranch stays ours, unbreakable. The ranch stays ours, unbreakable. But the real win comes in the aftermath, as Voss's empire unravels like a bad merger. Morning light hits the Willow Bend fields. The cattle grazing steady, the west sheds standing firm. News breaks fast. Voss sentenced to 15 years for embezzlement, bribery, and fraud, his face splashed across screens, pale and broken. Councilman Elias Ford follows, resigning amid charges, his bribes exposed in court. The Willow Bend HOA dissolves by week's end, its charter revoked, every fine refunded. My phone buzzes with a bank alert. $5,000, 0 cents, back in the account, liens wiped clean. Relief hits like a cleared ledger, numbers balancing true. My dad's voice echoes, spot the leverage, Marcus. I did, bought the bank, froze the debts, watched Voss crumble. I opened the ranch to neighbors that afternoon, a casual gathering to mend the fractures. The air's alive with grilled steak and hay, folks milling by the sheds Voss once targeted. Ronan Kane hauls in a cooler of drinks, his grin wide, free of Voss's shadow. Marcus, he says, clapping my shoulder, we were fools to buy his lies. Sorry for doubting you, Mrs. Kane nods beside him, her voice soft but firm. Those whispers, he had us scared. But you stood up. Others chime in, old man Ellis from the co-op admitting, "Thought Theo's store was tainted, wrong call." The apologies come steady, restoring the peace we'd lost, the ranch feeling like a hub again, not a battleground. Theo pulls up in his truck, his store ledger tucked away, face relaxed for the first time in weeks. We step aside by the barn, away from the chatter. "We did it, cousin," he says, his hand firm on my arm. "Your buyout play? Genius." I nod, the bond between us stronger, forged in this mess. We've always been close, him handling the street-level deals, me the big-picture numbers. But Voss's threats tested it. Fines hitting his store sales hard, and with the HOA gone, Theo's business rebounds, our family hub secure. Dad would be proud, I say, throat tight. We share a quiet laugh, planning upgrades, solar panels for the sheds, a joint investment to buffer against future storms. The gathering swells, neighbors swapping stories over plates, the air warm with unity. Seth from the co-op claps my back. "You exposed him, saved us all from those hikes." A few who whisper against us hang back at first, but apologies flow as the sun dips, restoring the ranch's peace. No more divides. Folks linger, offering help with fences, sharing tips on crops. Vaughn Reed films low-key, his vlog capturing the shift. Comments pouring in. Real community win. The ranch pulses with life, our financial bedrock solid again. Evening falls, the fields gold under the sunset, the sheds shadows long but unthreatening. Theo and I walk the fence line, his steps sure, my dad's lessons in every post. "We'll add more cams," he says. "Keep it locked." I nod. Our family ties deeper, unbreakable after this. The fight cost us, lost gigs, stressed like a mounting debt, but the reward's here. Peace restored, the ranch thriving. Voss's prison cell is cold comfort, but his fall ununites us. Neighbors drift home with full plates, new bonds forged. Ronan lingers, voice low. "They might try again," he says. I nod, deed in my pocket, heavy with truth. The stars emerge, bright as my dad's eyes when he built this place. Voss's scam is buried, our hub secure. The fields hum, the ranch stands, a symbol of our strength. Theo grips my shoulder. "We won, Marcus." I nod, hand on his arm. I'm a financial analyst, Theo's partner, ready for what's next. The dossier's locked in a safe now, our arsenal against Voss's crumbling empire. But the ranch feels alive again, the fields humming with the low hum of cattle under a clear dawn. Theo and I walk the fence line, adding new financial monitoring systems, sensors tied to our accounts alerting us to any unusual liens or transfers. "Like your merger audits," Theo says, wiring a node to the gate post. I nod, the setup simple but sharp, pulling data from county records in real time. We've turned the ranch into a fortress, not just land and livestock, but a hub where every dollar flows secure. No more blind spots, Voss taught us that. Grandpa's teachings hit hardest in these quiet moments. He claimed this 60 acres spread in 1980, turning scrub into a legacy, with nothing but grit and smart plays. "Spot the leverage, Marcus," he'd say, his voice rough from years out here, showing me how to balance the books on crop yields. Theo grew up hearing the same, summers spent learning to negotiate supplier deals. That wisdom saved us. Reading Voss's patterns, buying the bank before he could squeeze harder. Grandpa fought off land grabs in the ADS, outsmarting folks like Voss's dad, and passed that fire to us. I feel it now, in every reinforced gate, every secure wire. But threats linger, shadows on the horizon. My phone buzzes with an anonymous email. "Hale won this round, we're watching." Could be Voss's old allies, or a new HOA creeping in from Crestwood. The fields are calm, but my gut says they're probing, waiting for a slip. Paranoia? Maybe, but Grandpa taught readiness, not fear. We're affirmed, locked in. Theo's store booming again, my contracts flowing steady. The ranch stands unbreakable, our family hub thriving. Ever held on to your legacy against the odds? Drop a comment. This ranch is ours, and we're ready. The ranch stays ours, but the real shift comes in the quiet after the storm. I sit on the porch as dusk falls, the fields stretching gold under the fading sun. Theo beside me, nursing a coffee. We've added those financial monitoring systems, alerts tied to county filings, Theo's idea to flag any shady liens early. It's not paranoia, it's practical, a layer of defense my dad would have approved. He built this place in 1980 to last, teaching me to spot bad deals before they bite. "Numbers don't lie, Marcus," he'd say, his voice rough from years out here. Theo soaked it up too, turning it into his store's edge. That wisdom saved us. Reading Voss's patterns, buying the bank to flip his game. The fight boiled down to this. Standing against financial overreach means knowing your ground. Voss stacked fines, forged reports, embezzled to squeeze us dry, but we didn't fold. We dug into records, traced the money, used leverage like the bank buyout to turn his tools against him. Lessons hit hard. Don't ignore the small fines. They're the crack that widens to a collapse. Build alliances early, like with Ronan and Vaughn. Isolation's the bully's best weapon. And always have proof. Deeds, cams, emails, because words alone won't hold in court. Financial overreach thrives on fear and ignorance. Strip that away and it crumbles. Protect your rights like they're the foundation, because they are. If an HOA or anyone starts with violations, question everything. Pull your deeds, check public records, rally who you can, don't let whispers divide you, confront them with facts. Voss thought fines would force our sale, but we fought smart, not hard. You can too. Spot the leverage, act, before they tighten the noose. Ever stood against overreach and won? Share your stories below. Your fight might spark the next one.